we're approaching open enrollment season for healthcare. The month of November. So you do all your research. You go through all the websites, the drop-down menus. You try to get some questions answered. Good luck with that. Company emails go out. They remind you. They want you to click here, log in here. It's time to pick your option for 2016, maybe for your family as well. And yet the deadline sneaks up on everybody. Did you know, according to a recent survey, this was done by Aflac, that 38% of Americans would rather clean out their email inbox than research their options for benefits under the Obamacare healthcare? Well, I hate doing the inbox clean out, and I got to do it better. But health insurance expert and benefits resource group executive Danny O'Connell joining us this morning to talk about this, because it is the time of year that you gotta hop on the bus. Good morning, Danny.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. So,
Good, thank you.
what do you think about this right now? It's certainly not new for people. Been around for a couple years, but the idea that in November you've got to hop to it. Why do people go so slow on this?
Well, like you said, it's one of those things that people don't look forward to. At least cleaning out my email inbox, I've got a sense of accomplishment there, right?
Barely for me. I got when you hit the thousands number, that's it's not a good sign.
Right. No, it's convoluted, confusing, challenging. You're worried about making the wrong mistake or making a mistake that could cost
Any mistake,
you.
yeah.
One of the good things to know is that you can work with agents in your local community who can help you navigate the system. There's no cost differential in the plans, whether you go with an individual or you go, online. A lot of them, like myself, we are certified to do the healthcare.gov, to get the subsidies, to get them on your own, in the exchange and out of them. So there is help out there for you, and you don't have to spend an arm and a leg to get it.
So how do you go about finding that? Do you Google this in your own community? Because, you get the email and you get the regular mail from the snail mail from the big companies out there who say, hey, we've got a wonderful set of plans. Have you thought about us? Or you're with us now. Do you want to re-up again? If you don't want to change, you don't have to do anything. But what about the advice? How do you go about finding that?
Yeah, so there certainly is Google, the Yellow Pages, a great resource is NAHU, NAHU.org. That stands for National Association of Health Underwriters. You can even look up agents that are associated or affiliated with that association in their area. They do actually put on certifications throughout the year for agents to complete, so you can see, is this agent actually certified or has completed training with regard to the Affordable Care Act and these types of plans.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. And so these are all people who they have the right training, they have the expertise. Does it also mean, I got to ask you this, does it also mean that they're pumping a particular plan, or do they have to, do they have a fiduciary responsibility if you're asking for advice to be real upfront and disclose?
Yeah, so that's a great question. You want to ask them, are you independent? What companies do you represent? Who do you work with and for? So I'm an independent individual and an organization where we do represent all the different carriers, and we can really work with you to find what's the best fit for you.
Do you think
who's going to be the best carrier?
Do you think independents generally, and I'm asking for your opinion because you're the guy on the line, Danny, do independents in general have a better array of services because they can, pick and choose maybe from a wider stack, or do those who rep just, the biggies out there, do they come with their own a slate of goodies as well? Is it up to the individual to make that decision?
So typically an independent is going to have more options for you and have a wider variety. All the plans now really do have to meet these federal requirements and guidelines. So you're not going to see huge differences between coverage from one carrier to the next, but you are going to see changes in networks, different networks from one carrier to the next. Even between a group plan versus an individual plan, you are going to see different in prescription drug lists, how things are covered and how much you're going to pay for those. So that's going to be a difference. And then your other larger differences are going to be between those metallic levels from bronze, silver, gold, platinum, meaning how much you're going to pay for a service and how much you're going to be out of pocket if you have something go on.
And that's important. Real quick, before we let you go, we see some of the headlines about different state co-ops failing. Should the consumer keep that in mind, or is that superfluous here?
Well, a lot of these states are now looking at why are we spending the money if we can just defer it to the federal government. and that type of thing. It's really just looking at the insurance carrier in itself, not necessarily, I think, as important of where you buy it from, but the insurance company you're doing business with.
So it's on kind of the broader question of the national versus state and who's picking up, but it's not affecting the individual, as you're saying, as much when they're out doing that shopping spree, right? For the
not
coverage.
As much where you buy, but what you buy.
What you buy. Okay, so that it matters, and Danny, this is confusing for people. I mean, it's still, when you ask people what are your benefits, how much do you pay, do you have a good deal? They probably go, yeah, I think so. But I mean, do they ever really know? The percentage of people who really know, isn't it fairly small, who have a real handle on it? Individuals.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And it's always changing. So as soon as you think you have it, it changes.
Danny O'Connell, health insurance expert. He runs the Benefit Resource Group. Danny, how can people find you online?
www.brg, and then it's a hyphen, like a dash, tx.com. I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Danny O'Connell.
He's omnipresent, and he also gave us that other site that you can take a look at, find out an underwriter in your area, somebody can give you some advice on this, and that's nahu.org, the National Association of Health Underwriters. Danny, appreciate you joining us this morning very much.
Thank you so much.